Solana! What's up, fam? It's That Guy in Tech, back here with another video, this time with a very special video because it's the first video on the Alchemy channel on how to build on Solana. Today we're going to be talking about how to create a Solana NFT collection. Today's video is all about that. If you're ready, buckle in, let's get going. Before we actually get into the step-by-step overview of the project, I first want to give a huge shout out to Kristian from the Philippines. He's an amazing Solana developer who's worked on NFT projects before. He taught me a lot of what to do. So I want to give him a huge shout out. Go follow him on Twitter. Check him out on his website. Really excited to keep working with him in the future. In the past, when I've done these videos, the videos can get kind of outdated because the tools, there are new versions of them and whatnot. So I will share this link in the video description below on the Alchemy documentation hub, docs.alchemy.com. You can find all of our tutorials and API references and everything there. So that is easy for us to keep up to date because we can change the text, we can add versions and all this stuff, but it's very hard to update the videos. So go there for all the code snippets, all the step-by-step. That's where you're gonna find every single thing. But in this video, what I wanna talk about is the architecture, what the project looks like, how you can test it, and you can get a feel of what you're gonna get involved with. And then when you're actually sitting down to focus and do the project, you can keep this video on in the background while I'm keeping you company, but really go to the docs for all the step-by-step. All right, let's go. All right, so first things first, we're gonna go over the architecture. Hopefully this is something that's helpful to you so that you know what all the tools are and how they fit together. So there's kind of a flow to it. The overall structure has about 4 steps. It's kind of how I think about it. The first step is to generate images. So we're going to be generating these Patrick Star looking images using a library called Hashlips. They're actually, I think, originally like an NFT development team or something like that. You can look them up on YouTube as well. But they have open sourced their art generation script. So what we're going to do is I will provide you with art layers. And these are the layers. So there are 3 different mouths, and there are 3 different eyes, and then there are 3 different heads. And then what this script does is it takes all of those layers and then it kind of jumbles it all together. And then we create these nice looking faces. So yeah, hopefully you enjoy that. Shout out to Kristian for the art. So step 2, we're going to deploy what's called a CandyMachine program using Metaplex's Sugar CLI tool, command line interface tool. So Metaplex is an amazing organization. They actually have created a lot of these programs like CandyMachine, but also other things that are very useful for Solana developers. And so if you go to metaplex.com, you can kind of see all of their very, very valuable tools. But we're going to be using the Sugar CLI in particular to then deploy a CandyMachine program, which is very useful for NFT projects to the Solana blockchain. And in this deployment, we actually are going to be using Alchemy. Alchemy is an RPC API. We also provide some abstracted APIs like an Solana NFT API that's coming out soon. And so we're going to be using Alchemy to communicate with the Solana blockchain to deploy our program. And then we will also in step 3, we're going to deploy an NFT minting web application or a decentralized application or dapp using Vercel. We're going to deploy it and it's going to be hosted on Vercel. It'll be, I believe it's a React project. We're just going to fork that. You won't have to do too much there because there's already this example. And then you'll have this website where you can type in a URL, Solana NFT tutorial, whatever you end up calling it. And people can visit that URL. They can mint an NFT with testnet, devnet, Solana, so it'll be fake. You won't have to actually spend any real money for now. And yeah, then you can test it, and that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna install a Phantom wallet if you don't already have that. Phantom wallet is really nice because you can actually see your displayed NFTs in the browser wallet itself. And then we're gonna mint an NFT and test the whole flow. And by the end of it, my hope is that you're going to kind of get a sense of how some of these example tools fit together. You can then use your own art layers to generate your own art and then maybe create an actual NFT project and deploy that to Solana mainnet. And if you do, tell me about it in the comments below. Tell me what your experience was like and I will check it out. So yeah, if you're excited, give this video a thumbs up and leave a comment, say hi, and let's get into the actual building of it. All right, so a couple of prerequisites. First, you're going to need a GitHub account. So if you don't already have this, it's pretty fundamental. Then you're going to need a Vercel account. So Vercel is a web hosting service, which is pretty easy to use, very nice for getting set up very quickly. And then what's also very important is you need either Node or Yarn. I'm using Node, so let me just show you NVM. Node Version Manager. I highly recommend using Node Version Manager to manage your versions of Node because different projects might need different versions. And then of course, what's also super duper important is Alchemy. So if you go to alchemy.com and ideally you can go to /? Solana Solana NFT tutorial. Basically, if you click in the link in the actual documentation, then it'll go to that, but it'll just redirect. But it helps me because we know where you came from in terms of signing up for a new Alchemy account. You don't have to do that. You could just go to alchemy.com too. But if you go through the tutorial, it will really help me a lot. Go over here, sign up for an account if you don't already have an account on Alchemy, and I'll just show you what it looks like. So I'll sign into my account. This is the dashboard. You can see I have a lot of apps across a lot of different chains. We support a lot of different chains, but the one that I want is the Solana DevNet. So I've already set that up. But when you want to set that up, you're gonna have a new dashboard without any applications. You can go to Create App, set your name, Solana Test NFT App thing. Put whatever you want here, and then you'll go to Solana. And then make sure you do Solana DevNet because we're going to be using the DevNet, not mainnet. That way we can use, fake Solana and all this stuff. And then you can create an app. So I've already reached the maximum number of apps on my account, but that's the process. You'll create the app and then you'll see this on your dashboard. And you can even click into it. You can see the actual dedicated dashboard for your application. So once we actually do some deployment and all this stuff, you'll actually see the compute units, success rate of the requests, how fast the requests were, all this kind of stuff. And then of course you can view the RPC API keys and the URLs. And this is what we'll need later. Of course, another very important prerequisite is the Solana tool suite. This is actually built by the Solana Foundation team, I believe. docs.solana.com/CLI/install Solana CLI tools. So for the first step, you're actually going to go to this GitHub. This is where we're hosting a template with all the folders that you'll need to use to manage your project. github.com/alchemyplatform/Solana NFT tutorial. Okay, go here and then clone it. So we're going to do that. We're going to click on that. And then we're going to clone it in our repo. So this is where I keep all my code. We're going to do git clone. Let me just clear this real quick. Git clone. And then that's the git URL. And then we'll clone that in. We can cd into the template repo. So it should be called Solana NFT tutorial. And you can see here we have our template folder. And it looks like that. So I'm going to cd that back out of that. And let's just open this up in VS Code because that will be a little bit prettier to look at. And we can also start a terminal in there. So let's open that. Let's wait for it to load. And then let's create a new terminal. We'll update later. Thanks for the reminder. Cool. So we have a terminal open here. And let's just see if that's working. That's great. And then you can see here in our template folder, we have these other subfolders that we're going to be using. So the assets are already here. These are the layers. You can see here circular eyes, oval eyes, wonky eyes, and then we have hot pink head, yellow head. You get the idea. Let's make this a little bit bigger. Okay, so the next thing we're going to look at is the Solana configuration. So just make sure that Solana is running here, and you can see here I do the Solana command and I get a bunch of help, which means it has been installed correctly. And then the next thing we want to do is you're going to check the config. So Solana config get, and this just basically shows you what the configuration is. So you can see here, I've already set my Solana config to DevNet. For you, it might look like this. You might have an RPC URL that looks like mainnet, right? That's totally fine. You're going to do Solana config set, and then we're going to set the URL. So basically what you want to do is go back to your dashboard, go to your app. So once again, here's your dashboard. You want to find your Solana DevNet app, and then you want to get the key. So we're going to click on that, and then you're going to get your HTTPS key. So this is the URL, including the API key. We're going to copy that, and if we go back to our terminal here, then you can see the command is set -- URL, and then you copy this in. So now you can see that you have your API key set. So all right, so for this step, we're going to get into the art generation. Remember, in our diagram, this is actually the first thing. We have the template with the layers, and now we're going to use the Hashlips script to generate the images. Now, Hashlips, like I said, mentioned at the very beginning of the video, is actually it's a team. They build some NFT stuff. Actually, it might just be one person. I'm not sure. But they have a lot of great tools, and the one that we're using right now is the Hashlips art engine. So you can look this up on GitHub. We'll also put a link in the description below. It'll be in the docs. Just look at the docs. And what we're going to do is we're going to clone this. So click on that, copy that. And then let's just go to the VS Code terminal. We're going to clear that, and we can just clone it here. So git clone here. We're going to git clone the art engine. That might take a moment, but once that is done, then we can cd into the Hashlips art engine. And then you can see here, there's a lot of stuff already in here. So you can see here, this layers folder, and this layers folder is actually going to, be their sample images. We don't want their sample images. So what we want to do is run an npm install. And notice that, I told you install node and nvm and all this stuff. You can see nvm list. There we go. I'm currently on version 16.10. I do have all these other versions installed, but I'm using 16.10, and that just works for me. The tutorial has another version that works for them. So if you're having troubles, make sure you're on the right version. But anyways, I'm going to do npm install, and then we are going to, move some stuff over. So that worked for me. Everything got installed. You can see here, I now have node modules. Okay, cool. Let's clear that. And then what I'm going to do is remove everything in layers. So you can see here, we have stuff in layers right now, all of these folders, right? Background, bottom lid, eye color, etc. We're actually just going to remove everything. So let's remove that. Yes, I want to remove all the files. And then now we have nothing in there. So you can see here, yep, nothing in there. And then what I want to do is I want to copy all of the images in the template, copy all of that into this current folder, which is the layers. So you can see now we have our layers in here. And then we're going to do some configuration in the config file. So you can see here, we'll go back one level, back into the Hashlips art engine. You can see layers, and we're going to, you should also be able to see, config. It's inside the source folder. So let's cd into the source folder, and you can see the config. So let's open the config file. Okay, so a couple things we want to change here. We want to change the network. And this should be changed to Sol, because right now it's ETH. So we want to change the Solana network. Let's change that. And then we want to change the name prefix. Name prefix should be Patrick Head. Now, when you're making your own project, you can change this name to whatever name you want. But for now, this is just the sample name of the collection. So the description is just very simple, my Patrick Heads. But you can add, a whole bunch of description if you really want to build out the lore of your project or something like that. And then we're going to ignore this for now, so don't worry about that. And then we also want to check out the metadata. So the default metadata right here, you can see here, Solana metadata, there's a symbol. And so the symbol, I'm actually going to update it to PH because I'm basic. No, I'm just kidding, because of Patrick Head. And then also you want to set how much % you want from secondary market sales. So the default is 10%, but we're going to be very generous and say that when buyers or collectors of our NFT collection resell our NFTs, we only charge 1% of royalty. Okay, so that way we can incentivize more trading. And then our external URL will actually be, for purposes of this video, we're Alchemy, so let's put Alchemy, but you'd probably want to link to some NFT website that you have. So let's put alchemy.com. And then finally, we want to change the metadata. So layer configurations is also important. Let's go ahead and do that first. We can change this because you can see these were the names of the folders that were in the default Hashlips project. So we don't want those anymore. We want the ones that we copied in, which are head, mouth, and eyes. Keep it kind of simple. And we want a total of 27 in the collection. And then that's pretty much it. We can keep the rest the same. Layer configuration, everything else is good. So now we can build the project. So let's clear that. I'm going to raise this up again so you can see. we are going to run npm run build, and that should work in the source folder. You're going to start seeing this output. So this is how you know it works. The output of the script naturally prints out which index of the creation of the addition, which is like, the NFT asset has been generated, and then it has like a little DNA hash. And then whenever the DNA collides, which means like, hey, we've already seen this combination of layers, we're gonna rerun it. And so you can see as the images get generated, there are more and more collisions, and then finally we generate all 27. Since it's 0 indexed, we see 26 here. So yeah, that is our images. And you can see here there's nothing in this file folder, but if we go out one into the Hashlips art engine, then you will see in the build folder, let's cd into build, then you'll see images and JSON. So let me show you this. Build. There we go. Images, and you can see the final created images. Look at them. Wonky little Patrick Star images. And then we have our JSON, and these JSON files are metadata files that says what's the name of this, the name of this NFT, what's the symbol for the collection, what's the name of the description of the collection, what's the royalty, what's the image file name, what's the external URL going to point to, all of these things, and then what's the combination of traits. And this is something that marketplaces will use to calculate rarities and allow filtering and sorting and all this stuff. And then here in the properties we have the files. There's an array because sometimes there could be more than one file, and then you have the creators and all this other stuff. So that metadata is also very, very important. Now what we're going to do is, right now we're in the build folder, we're going to combine everything so that we can deploy it using Sugar. All right, so now it's time to upload all of our NFTs that we've generated onto the Solana blockchain with CandyMachine and Metaplex and Sugar. And I just want to call out that Sugar is one of those tools that Metaplex develops. They're definitely check all of these out. I highly recommend spending some time here if you expect to be doing more NFT stuff. Metaplex is super great for doing NFT stuff. So look through these. I won't go too deep into it, but for us, what we really need is first to download Sugar if you don't already have it. So here's that command. It's in the documentation once again. So go to docs.alchemy.com and find this tutorial. This is the bash command. We're going to install that. It'll download, but for me, I do not want to replace the binary I already have since I've already installed it. So I'm going to reject that. I'm going to confirm that I have the right Sugar version. So as long as you're above 1.1.0, which is what I have at the time of this making, you should be totally fine. And then what we want to do is structure our directories in the right way so that Sugar knows how to access it. So right now you can see I am in the top level. So I'm above Hashlips, art engine, and template. What we want to do is take the images and you can see here, these are the images, these are the JSON metadata blobs. What we want to take all of what we want to do is take all of these and combine them together in a structure that Sugar expects when it wants to upload all of the images to a CandyMachine store. So what we need to do is create this assets directory. If you don't already have it, create that assets directory. You can do a make dir, templates, to-build assets. We already have it, so yep, that's good. And I'm just going to cd into template to.build, cd into assets. So into this directory, this is the new assets directory we just created. Into this directory, we want to copy over all of the images and JSON blobs. And then now we see everything in here, which is great. You can confirm that in the VS Code UI as well. So we want to remove the underscore metadata JSON file because what this is really just a collection of all of the metadata of the entire collection, and we don't really need that right now. So you can just forget about that. And then this is what we're left with. The other thing we need to do is that we have 0 through 26, so that's a total of 27 NFTs, which is good. That's what we expect. That's what we set. But we also need a collection NFT that's going to represent the collection when we put it on marketplaces. This is kind of like the high level. Here's what you're going to explore now. If you click into this collection, you're going to see all the NFTs. So we want to copy over 0. I'm just picking the first one. You can upload an entirely new collection NFT if you want to, but I'm copying over 0 to collection.png, and then I'm going to copy over 0.json to collection.json. So now you see that we have all 27, 0 through 26, but also we have the collection.json and collection.png. So now our setup is exactly what Sugar expects. And again, you can run Sugar, and you can actually see all these subcommands that Sugar has available. So we can actually run the validate real quick. So let's do Sugar validate. Let's go back up one directory. It needs to see the assets directory. So let's do Sugar validate. It looks at all 27 of the actual collection plus the collection one. So that's why there's 28 metadata files to check if everything's set up correctly. And boom, yep, we're set up correctly, which is awesome. So the next thing we want to do is now create the actual config file. So let's do Sugar create config. It's going to be interactive. It'll step by step lead you through how to set up the config. So what's the price that you want to sell each NFT for? I'm going to say 0.1 Sol. Super cheap. I'll just do 0.1. And then we found 27 file pairs. Is this how many NFTs you will have in your CandyMachine? Yes, 27. And then yes, PH is the correct name of the collection, correct symbol, I mean. And then we found 100 for seller fee basis points, which is 1%. Yep, okay with that royalty. And then for this, what's your go live date? I want it to go live immediately so that we can actually test it. But for your actual production collection, you might want to set that someday in the future, a week from now, months from now, whatever it is, so that people can't actually mint your collection before now. But for now, I want it to be now. So let's put now. And then how many creator wallets do we have? We have one creator wallet. It's just me. And to get the entire creator wallet address, let's go to Phantom Wallet. And we're just going to copy this test wallet that I've been using and then paste that in there. And how many royalty percentage share? I want 100% for this one owner. And then which extra features do you want to use? Now, this is another place where I'm not going to elaborate too much for now, but these are really, really awesome features for more production ready NFT collections. So definitely go through the documentation and explore these. And if you want more tutorial on these things, let me know in the comments right now. Go to the comments right now, type it out. But for now, I'm going to not select any of these and just hit enter and continue on. What's your Sol treasury address? I'm just going to use the same address as my wallet because I don't have any complicated treasury setup for now. And you can just default to Bundler for the upload method. This is where you're going to be storing your NFTs. So just use Bundler and we're going to store to Arweave for permanent storage. Do you want to retain update authority on your NFTs? Yeah, just go with the default here and go with the default here as well. And then we're good to go. You can see here, saving config to file, command successful. So now, if you haven't already done this too, because let's say this is your very first Solana project, you want to do Solana keygen new. The way we're going to deploy is really we're going to upload the images to CandyMachine. So let's do Sugar. I'll clear that so it's easier to see. We're going to do Sugar upload, and then it should just go through all of the 28 images and metadata pairs. It will upload everything. You can see some information here. It shouldn't take too long, but it depends on your internet connection and whatnot. And then once it's uploaded, then we can do Sugar launch, and that will launch our CandyMachine instance. So it's going to create a CandyMachine. It's going to generate an ID. This ID is important. You'll need this for later, so copy this down somewhere. I'll have it in my terminal, so I'll just copy it from here. But if you somehow clear your terminal or you lose it or your machine crashes or something like that, you can actually do Sugar show to get that information again. So you see how I ran Sugar show, CandyMachine ID. You can also do Sugar verify, just to verify that everything was generated and uploaded and launched correctly. So yeah, Sugar verify. Config line, verification successful, you're good to go. And you can actually go to Solanize, which is a website that has some of this UI, to check out your CandyMachine NFT deployer minter thing. You can see here next mints are these three. And there are ways to customize this experience so that people who are minting your project are getting more of a randomized experience, and they're not predicting which of the NFTs they're getting, especially if there's different rarities and whatnot. So I'll leave that as a challenge for you to look into for now, but I just wanted to highlight this is a link that you'll get from the output. So we've generated everything. Oh, let's go back to VS Code. We've generated everything. We've created our CandyMachine instance. We've uploaded. We have our CandyMachine ID up here. So everything's good. And now what we're going to do is deploy the front-end Minter website. All right. So the next thing we want to do is go to the CandyMachine UI repo, and we're going to fork that. So this is what it looks like. Let me minimize my face a little bit. And you can see here, it's the Metaplex Foundation. They hosted this repo. It's the CandyMachine UI. It's a very, it's a demo, NFT website application. So we're just going to go here. We're going to fork it to our own repo. I'm just going to call it CandyMachine UI. That's totally fine. We're going to create a fork. You can call this your own project name, right? Like this is like Patrick Star NFT Solana dapp. Yeah, you can rename it if you want. So I'll just rename it just to show you. And CandyMachine UI. So we've forked it. And then we also want to go to Vercel. And so that's vercel.com. You want to log into your dashboard. And then you want to add new project. We'll continue with GitHub so that we can link my GitHub account. And then we'll just import this latest project that I have forked. And then what we want to do is set a couple of environment variables. So you can copy this from the documentation on the tutorial hosted on the Alchemy docs, but it'll be here, environment variables. We'll do these variables. So the first one is React app CandyMachine ID. Now this should come from our output earlier. So you can see here, your CandyMachine ID is here. Now, if you already cleared your terminal or you don't have access to it anymore for some reason, you can always do sugar show. And sugar show will link you your CandyMachine ID. So we're going to copy that. And that is what we want to add there. We want to add another one. We have a total of 4 variables we want to add. So this is Solana network. Solana network needs to be devnet. I'm going to set the RPC host. This is again going to be your Alchemy URL. So where's my Alchemy dashboard? There we go. This is the devnet URL that I want to use from Alchemy. So I'll add that and light check to be true. Don't worry about that for now. So then we can go do deploy, and then we can view our site. So let's click deploy. And then it'll be the moment of truth. This will be super exciting. So yeah, we've gone through pretty much almost everything, generated the art, went through CandyMachine to upload our NFTs onto Arweave via Bundler and get the contract and everything up on Solana. And then now we're going to go back to Vercel just to make sure that it's been deployed. Let's give it a second. I'm going to fast forward here. All right, so we're connected and we have our Solana. It's taking a moment to load. We have our Solana, and yeah, now the website has recognized our wallet, and it shows that there are, NFTs remaining that you can mint and buy, and there's the price, and it's live, and yada 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 yada. So it's awesome. Let's try minting. So let's click on that. Phantom Wallet should pop up. It's going to ask, do I want to approve this transaction? This is the estimated fee. There's a network fee that's very, very, very low. So that's actually one of the benefits of building on Solana. Very low transaction fees and very fast transactions. And the price of my NFT is about 0.01. And yeah, a little bit of extra fees, I guess, for other things. You can actually view advanced transaction details there if you want. I'm going to approve that. And then we're going to wait for a moment, and you can see, boom, congratulations, mint succeeded. There's 26 remaining. And then in a moment, I should be able to see my NFTs pop up here. So I might have other collections that are showing up. This is from a previous run that I did. So let's see if it'll take a while, but there we go. We saw something pop up, and here is my Patrick head collection. And you can click into that. You can see the one and only one that I have from this collection. You can send it, you can list it on a marketplace like Magic Eden, you know, or you can see the properties, whatnot. You can see the website, the external website that it links out to. So yeah, super exciting stuff. That's the entire project. You've now learned how to use Metaplex. You've learned how to use Alchemy to connect to and deploy to the Solana blockchain. You know how to use CandyMachine and the Sugar CLI. You know how to use Hashlips for art generation. And there is so much more to learn. This is just scratching the tip of the iceberg. So I'm excited to see what questions you have, where you want to take this NFT collection. And if you have any questions, once again, leave a comment down below and follow me on this YouTube channel. So yeah, I will see you next time. Bye.